Welcome back, everybody, to Phone Booth Fighting. That's Frank Mir over there. I'm Richard Hunter. This podcast, now 5 years deep into existence, comes to you on a weekly basis. I'd say we average weekly. And we talk about the world of mixed martial arts. And we should just say we talk about the world. We always kind of lead with we talk about the world of mixed martial arts, and that is true. But that's a jumping off point. We go a lot of different places from there. So that being said, though, Frank, we're going to direct everybody to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/phone booth fighting. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching us, that's probably how you're seeing this. But who knows? You might be a guest. You might not already be a subscriber. So please like and subscribe and tell some other people about Phone Booth Fighting. We would appreciate it, and that's how we keep the podcast growing. All right, Frank, it's we're going to start with this. It's a big week in your house because someone's got to fight. And for the first time in Mir family history, you don't just say that statement and everybody goes, oh, who's Frank fighting? Right? It's different this time.
It is. It's kind of nice, though, that everybody's used to and able to adjust. I think a lot of families that have been having a fight in the household, they're new to the sport, they're new to the concept. With Isabella, her mother has been, dealing with this for 20 years. All her siblings understand what it's like to give her a little bit of space. And, this is her week and last preparations going into the fight.
Yeah. Now, well, tell me, okay, so Bella is making her pro debut. We talked about this last week. People are probably already aware about this, but Bella has been training for how many years? I mean, I'm sure since she's a baby, she's going to the gym and, rolling around and all that kind of stuff. But if you were to really put a time on how long she's been training, what do you think that is?
She probably really started becoming focused on it when I didn't put other sports in front of it, probably in 7th grade, so.
Mm-hmm. You cut out there for a second.
Oh.
7th grade, so what?
Yeah, maybe, that was her first competition wrestling and stuff. So, in 6th grade when she was 12, I probably started really, allowing her to go to those kind of practices over other practices.
Mm-hmm.
Up to that point, when she was a little girl, I pushed soccer. And then when she was about 9, she was interested in baseball, so we got her into softball. Then she was playing football. And then when I realized that, that she was going to end up being a fighter, that there was nothing I could do to dissuade her, that's when I was like, all right, so start going to wrestling practice more religiously and allowing her to, start doing jiu-jitsu a lot more,
Yeah. So it's a long time in the making. She's 17. She's going to be making her pro debut in Mexico. This is, as we tape, a week from tomorrow, right? The 22nd?
A week from yesterday.
Oh, it's a Thursday night fight?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. So we're less than okay. So it's coming this coming Thursday, basically. Do we still believe this is airing on Fight Pass? There was some talk about that. It is. Okay. Okay. Your audio's kind of clipping out here, Frank.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It might be when I talk.
Okay, I'll make sure I don't run you over.
I think that's it. I think if one of us is talking, that might be it. All right, I'll try to talk less. Good luck there. Yeah, so UFC Fight Pass, people are going to be able to stream this fight. What is the promotion call that they're going to be looking for?
Icon.
Okay.
IKO.
Okay. Yeah. Has this? Do you know anything about the promotion? Has it been around for a little bit?
Honestly, I'm new to it. Also on my radar. So I can't say I know much. I'll obviously learn more as the week goes on. But so far they've been great, easy to work with. Very accommodating, and just it was everything's gone extremely smooth. So as far as how they're ran backstage and how the owners run it, so far it's been just top notch. So I'm happy about that. And then as far as watching any of the events, I don't know if this might be the first one that I'm aware of. I think that they're just now putting it on Fight Pass. Not to be too egomaniac or but I think it might have a little to do with Bella.
Sure, that makes sense. Is it? Do you know if her opponent is now? Does the opponent have a pro record, or is she making her pro debut as well? Do you know?
It'll be her pro debut as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's 4-3 as an amateur, having won her last 2 fights.
How old is she?
33.
Holy smokes! Wow, a veteran. I mean, you know, by chronological standards, anyway. Man, well, this will not be Bella's first go round with. I mean, at this point, virtually anybody's going to be older than her that she's fighting. But you know, I recall going back to that not Grappler's Quest. What's the tournament name? Why am I spacing on the tournament name? I've competed in this tournament. Help me.
I'm sorry, the wife was talking to me.
Naga. Yes. God, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay. Yes. Naga.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I'm right now really fast to the store. I just need to grab cheese for the kids. I just made tacos.
Oh, cool.
So we'll get salads. And then, so I'll be right back.
Okay, love.
Oh.
You just heard Frank Mir get very excited about tacos there.
Oh.
Mm.
I don't get anything. I get salad.
That's always good news when
no shell. So
yeah, it's always good news when tacos show up. But yeah, speaking of the Naga tournament, I mean, I remember. I think this was the one you were maybe out of town for, but there was a woman. Bella was advancing in that tournament, and it came down to, it was either, you know, the finals or the semifinals or something. And I recall there was a woman that was quite a bit older than her, and obviously much more experienced, that just declined that round when they were going to pair up with Bella, because they were having Bella go up above her natural category, I guess you would say, even though strict rules would dictate, okay, she's this level, she's been competing this long, this is how many tournaments she's had. But they took a look at it and they're like, well, if we're being honest about this isn't really fair, right?
Well, and I think it was funny because Jennifer asked me what to put her down as. I was like, well, I mean, it's her first jiu-jitsu competition at the time. She's a beginner, right? Experience-wise. Or I think even intermediate maybe. And they put her in her age bracket. And the first match, obviously, was extremely one-sided, devastatingly so. So the promoter came over when he realized who she was. And, you know, and it wasn't that I was sandbagging her. I just didn't, you know, I wanted to be honest that she's, you know, this is her first competition in this format. And they immediately let us know that she can't ever compete anything besides advance. And even though at the time I think she was 15, they forced her to go into the adult section.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how is how's she doing with all this? Is she you guys were doing a little bit of media for this, right?
Yeah, and actually we have another phone call, I think, with ESPN at 3:00. So we'll be bouncing to that, so spreading it out. You know, good. You know, it's just that obviously Bella's having to deal with, you know, usually people don't deal with this kind of a media until they're, you know, in the UFC or a Bellator or PFL type of league. You know, and Bella's already has the kind of attention of a fighter who's established, just off of the potential of what people think she's going to be. So, you know, trying to make sure she's not distracted or overwhelmed with that has been my job, you know, just, you know, navigating the ambient noise that doesn't become distracting for her.
Yeah. And now if this goes well, can you see yourself taking on the persona of that car salesman where you're like, hey, listen, if you like this one, I got a couple other models here. Let me show you what's coming off the assembly line here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, you know, as far as like even just in the future, as Bella want to continue doing this and stuff, I'm going to wait till after she fights the first time, because it's like anything else. You know, you can think you really want to do something, and then she goes through and she can have it flawless victory, go through and just walk through the girl, and then we can be in the locker room afterwards, and she can just say like, hey, maybe this isn't for me. And you know, and immediately then we switch gears and find what she does want to do in life, and support her fully in that. So, that was one thing I wanted to make sure Bella knew, that she's not being, not being pigeonholed to where, look, you have to, this is expected of you now. You've built up this type of momentum that this is the direction we're going, sink or swim, and that's not the case. Like anything else, she's 17 years old, she's still a kid, so
Mhm.
uh, she might love this for the next couple of years, and she might find something else she loves. And so then we just switched in.
Is this? I mean, have you been able to pick up on any of what I'm about to ask about? Like, how do her friends look at this? This must be very strange, because first of all, she's doing something that none of her other friends her age are doing. Secondly, you guys invest in education, so she goes to a nice private school. It's not like she's, in some school where there's amateur MMA fights going on behind the gymnasium every day, I'm sure. I mean, this must be really unusual.
It is, but I think that Bella's always been an unusual person, so all her friends already are accustomed. We have a weird family. Dad fights people for a living. And Bella has always been, an extreme athlete. I mean, she was playing on the football team with her brother, and starting and one of the stars on the team. So she had her girlfriends coming out watching Bella playing linebacker and knocking boys out. And so that, already established the trend that she's not a normal girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is almost where I think it would be more shocking for some people to make this choice. I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion to a lot of her friends that Bella chose to go ahead and turn pro and be a fighter.
Yeah. It's now she's never had, this is another thought I had. She's never really had a job before, right?
I just thought about that today. My daughter's first job is to be a professional fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never worked, so this would be it. Her first job out of
Yeah. I guess in a loose way, I can kind of relate to this because, when I was her age, my first job was playing in bands in smoky bars with guys that were my dad's age. So I know the feeling of, I didn't work at McDonald's kind of thing, so you have this sort of unusual, not only is it an unusual job, but your coworkers are closer to your parents' age a lot of times than they are going to be to your own. Case in point, her first opponent.
Well, absolutely. But Bella has grown up in this world, and so, I didn't even think about it till she was doing an interview talking about how, she's been backstage at major fights, back there, the Chuck Liddells and Matt Hugheses and Vito Belfort, all just talking to her, knowing who she is, and her farthest back memory goes to that. And so, I think that she's probably more comfortable in this world than a lot of other 17-year-olds would be stepping into such an adult, arena as professional fighting.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's the family knows how to between you and Jennifer and then three kids. The family knows how to prioritize when there's a fight. Okay, this week is fight week. Up to this point, it's always been for you, but everybody's got to just put the focus on that person and just give them that space and all that kind of thing. You've talked about before how the family does that for you, and then as soon as that happens, there's kind of another shift, and then everybody's like, okay, now we have to make up for the people who were taking that backseat. So here's my question to you: do you think that since this is the first time Bella is in that priority position, that after the fight, maybe sometime next week, she will surprise you with Justin Bieber tickets?
No, Bella is very thoughtful, and she will be. Just the other day, when I was in Tulsa, she actually we had friends staying at the house with my wife and stuff, and Bella went and got them thrifty ice cream, even though she couldn't eat any. Just came home and surprised Jen with ice cream, and everybody staying at the house. Her mom was here, my mother-in-law, and and then at one point I called that night because I got done with the show, and by the time I got up to the room, it's it's 1:32 in the morning, and I have to be up at like 4:20 to leave the hotel room by 5 to get to the airport for my 6 o'clock flight, or be at the airport at 5 o'clock. And so I told Jen, I'm like, hey, something weird I did the other day. I've never done my whole life. My phone went off, and I picked it up, and I turned the alarm off and went back to bed, and ended up oversleeping. And I did that about a month ago here at the house. And so I told my wife, Jen, this is the first time I've traveled since I did that. And I've never done that before, and that's kind of weird. I'm only going to have like about an hour and a half of sleep. So why don't you, and I gave her the hotel room number. I'm like, make sure you call the room. If I don't call you by this amount of time, that means I've overslept. So Bella went into her mom's room and actually turned off her alarm because Jen was tired, and took it upon herself to set her alarm clock to call me to make sure that I was up. So when I text Jen, hey, I'm up, no big deal. She called the room anyways. I was like, I'm jumping out of the shower, like, hey, I told you I'm up. And it was Bella. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize to text Bella, but and that just shows how Bella is in her mind. She's very considerate. So I think it's even easier for the boys and everybody around, our friends, to want to help Bella, because she's that kind of person that you don't ever feel. She never takes advantage of the situation, and she's very much out to help others.
Mm-hmm. Anything, I'm sure you have thought about this for a number of years now. I mean, she's been saying she wanted to do this, and then, she doesn't, she sticks with it and continues to train. And you're seeing it's a progression, right? You're seeing it, I'm sure the first time she said she wanted to be a fighter, that's cute. And then it quit being cute, and it was like, okay, we seem to be sticking with this. So I think we're definitely headed in a serious direction all the way up until now. So now that you're here, after having all this time to think about it, is there anything that surprises you that's either not as big of a deal as you thought, or, because I'm sure you thought going back years, boy, what's it going to be like if I ever actually get to the day where this happens? Is there anything that's kind of surprised you? It wasn't like you thought it was going to be?
Actually, not that I didn't think it was going to be, but not to the extreme that it is. I didn't think that the whole world would be paying as close of attention to Bella's debut. I knew that obviously being the son of the daughter of a fighter that has accomplished what I have in my career, there would be attention. But, the amount of attention that Bella's receiving has blown my mind. And in one sense, almost kind of scared me, because I wasn't prepared for that. To be able to sit there and go, okay, wait a minute, hold on a second, let's slow down the interviews. She's not, we're not a main event fighter right off the bat. We're getting that kind of attention and obligation. And so that surprised me,
Mhm.
just, wow, she's a lot of attention for a person who's just making their debut, who's 0-0,
Anything you're nervous for other than the obvious? I mean, I think you said last week, bottom line, I still don't want to see my daughter get punched in the face, but that goes without saying. But I don't know, anything that's making you a little nervous?
No, I'm prepared for it. I know Bella has my personality when it comes to obsessing over things. And so there is, I know what's going to happen. We're going to have the fight. Bella is going to smash her. And afterwards, there's going to be one or two mistakes Bella made that nobody else could probably even point out. But she'll see it, and it's going to drive her insane. And then we're going to get done with this fight, and we'll get home Saturday, and she's going to tell me that we're back in the gym Monday, full-blown training. So I don't know if she's prepared. I'm going to tell her she has to take a week off.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the strongest thing I'm not looking forward to, is after the fight, pulling the reins back on Bella to say, hey, let's chill out for a couple days, at least take off till Wednesday. Can we rest till then? And and I know that she's it's going to upset her.
Yeah. Do you think, is there anything, I mean, of course, it all has to be relative to this point in her career, which the career is non-existent until Thursday. It's going to be a debut, like we said. But just this early on, looking at her, is there anything you think she does better than you?
Oh, her wrestling is better than mine. Her transition from shots is great, phenomenal. And so, her, especially at that age. Right now, I know as much about wrestling as she does, but we're almost on par. Which kind of blows my mind a little bit. Um, you know, uh, I need to bring up other aspects a little bit here. Uh, the things also too that she does better than I do is very disciplined. Bella's told to only eat 25 grams of this and 15 grams of that, and only consume or try to consume at least she's close to almost 200 ounces of water that she has to drink every day. Close to 2 gallons. And so she walks around with a water bottle, and it just there is she if she's told to do it, we need you to stretch for 15 minutes. And you might even forgot you told her to do it. And you look over and go, oh yeah, you're supposed to go stretch, right? And she remembers and she does it. So her discipline towards detail surpasses mine. Sometimes I think I think because I saw the follies of talent that I could always just land on my feet and make things work because of my intelligence and my natural attributes. It caused a certain kind of of laziness on my part, where it's like, well, I'll just show up and I'm going to win, right? And for the first 20 years of my life, was the case. Whereas Bella, because being my daughter, I always preached to her that, like, hey, look, it's a curse sometimes to be talented because it takes away hard work. We always got to make sure we work hard and work diligently and work smart. And Bella definitely has followed all the advice of my mistakes and has turned it around. Not turned it around. She has one hell of a work ethic that blows my mind.
See, I think that's the real value in the second generation lineage. Like, a lot of people would say, oh, these are great genes, or, oh, there's a name value and all this kind of thing. And that may all be true, but I would concur with what you're saying, that I think the greatest advantage would be in avoiding pitfalls that are actually easy to avoid. In hindsight, they're easy to avoid. Maybe before you lived them, they weren't, because there wasn't anybody that was very close to you telling you, look out for this, don't do that, I've done that, don't do this differently. I think when it's all said and done, that, as much as anything, maybe the real value of the advantage that she has coming from that family.
I mean, there's an old movie that was written by Bruce Lee that they made after he passed away. I forgot the lead actor in it, but one of the co-actors was David Carradine. And it's this guy who basically goes to these tournaments of martial arts, and he wins this tournament. He has to go on this journey to find, like, this book of knowledge at the end of it. And they're in this village, and there's this really beautiful young man who's like, the village is just clamoring over and just basically waiting on him hand and foot. So the David Carradine, the blind monk who's guiding this main character through the movie, he punches the kid in the nose and busts his nose. And our hero is looking at him going, that kid had a beautiful face. He would have had so many opportunities. Like, the world was on his, served him on a platter, and you busted his nose. And so the old man explains, or David Carradine explains, like, by me, his beauty was a fault. And by me doing that, now he's going to, basically he's going to be a better person, a better, a member of the community and society because of this. So it's funny because then the guy goes, you've done this before. And so then he slaps the character, slaps him. He goes, but how many times? And I enjoy that. I feel like that was going on with me and Bella right now. I'm her monk who's been through here. She's on her way up to the top of the mountain. And as we're walking through, I'm like, okay, there's a route. I know that looks like an easier path. It's not. Let's skip that. Let's go over here. Hey, let's camp out now. We're not going to push through because, the sun's going to set and it's going to be a lot colder than you anticipate. I've been there and froze my ass off. So let's not do the same thing twice,
Yeah. Well, this is all very exciting, and it's going to be Thursday night. Icon is the name of the promotion. You're going to be able to see it on UFC Fight Pass. I hope the UFC appreciates us spiking these Fight Pass subscriptions for them.
We'll see.
Yeah, they better. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's end it here, because one of us has to get on ESPN and do interviews with their daughter. That is so strange. I know that's just nothing to you because it's just like you're living it, but just know that all the other people in the world sit back and look at that and go, man, that is interesting.
Yeah, different.
Yeah, it certainly is. All right. Well, we'll do. And when's everybody leaving? What's the itinerary for the week? How's all this going to work?
Oh, I'll explain to you off air. I don't want people to know
No.
my travel.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
We're
yeah.
going into, so I'm trying to make sure it's a little bit.
Oh, this is great. In true Mere family fashion, there's also you don't want to be foiled by any sort of international plot. Yes, this is good because you're traveling down to the unwieldy area of Mexico.
Have a healthy fear of the cartels, as all people should.
Yeah, well, listen, me too. Mexico's no picnic down there. Okay, very good. All right. Well, I'll look forward to hearing about that off the air. Okay, folks. Once again, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/phone booth fighting. We've got a Patreon page as well with some premium content up there. That is patreon.com/phone booth fighting. And Frank, maybe you can take a second and tell people about the sponsor codes that are on the front of phoneboothfighting.com.
Yeah, you see the companies that we use. American Shaman, I'm an ambassador for. Great CBD, really has helped me out and enriched my life. Click on there, and you can go through and get check out samples and discounts. And same with Mitrospec, the phenomenal kratom, and they help out. And I think it's either FM20 or FrankMed20 on there. You can look; it's on our description for as far as a discount.
Very good. All right. For Frank Mir, I'm Richard Hunter, and we'll see you right back here next time on Phone Booth Fighting.